こんにちは、チャートマスターの根崎ゆきです。7月30日のセッションリキャップ取っていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。それでは始めていきましょう。
So this is what we're looking for the later session. Things did not move this morning. They got in position, but they did not move. All right, that means we know what they're going to try to do in a later session. All right. Right now, we're waiting for either one or two things to happen. All right, we're waiting primarily for this to break out to the downside. This is a day chart trend to the downside that you saw. We put the lines on. That's where these lines came from. All right. So if we can get the breakout down here, our target is right down here where this bottom is at the S4 with a PSR right down in this area. That's
まずはユーロドルからですね。240分チャートです。チャンネルをブレイクしてきたら、このサポートと HSI ある重なっている部分まで打っていきたいですねと。
our target right there. And when we break out, it'll be about 50 pips max right there. About 50 pips. Right? So we're all, we don't speak in the room. There's too many traders in here. We have to type it in. We don't trade it in a live room, Chris. I mean, all of our traders trade it, but we don't trade it live in here. Oh. That's what we're looking for. So we got to have a break of the 32.40. Actually, the break of 32.29 right here. So we got to be below 32.29. Our target is 31.75. So there's about 50 pips in there. Not a whole lot, and it's a euro. So we want to be, you know, I'd be leery of it. All right. There is a possibility, though, because we have a rectangle up here, which is a buying sign, that we could go up to the day chart top before we break to the downside.
まあ下行く前にこのデイチャートのトップのトレンドラインに当たってから跳ね返ってくる可能性もありますねと。
The stop, I don't know what the real estate is going to be, Nick. It depends what the real estate is at the time. I can define that part of it, but our stop is always the same. It's the last support or resistance plus 5 to 7 pips on a number that ends in a 3 or a 7. So when we look at it later on, we know where the target is, but we don't know where the entry is, and we don't know the stop loss until we look at the real estate at that time. See? All right, British pound. We're waiting to see if we get the breakout here to the downside. All right, you can see we're right here at the top. Overwhelmingly, we're looking for a sell, and you can see that we got to break out of this single line right here, the single line trend line, and this S1 right here at 53.30. All right, breaking that, there's just a small trade down to 53.05. So this is a little dicey here, but the next trade is below 53.05. And we would be looking at 53.05 going down to 52.50. So it's 55 pips right in that little area right there. And if it does break here, it'll hook, and then you might get 70 pips out of there. Because if it takes this little 20 pip deal out here and then pulls up, the real estate would say take it here or down here. Remember, professional buyers, sellers sell at the top, not at the bottom.
ポンドドルですね、240分。トレンドラインをブレイクしてきたらブレイクフックのところで売っていきたいねと。で、サポレジ、そして HSI、トレンドラインがあるところまで打っていきたいねと。
Alright. Alright, yeah, all of you who are here that are on, got an email to join us, we will send the link to this. Alright, so, alright, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for a possibility of a fifth wave to the upside right here. On the bounce of the day, there's a day chart trend, so we're looking for that. What do we got to be above? Well, we got to take the resistance out, which is at 102.99, so we're going to have to be above 103, 1.0300.
ドルカナダですね、1.0300 より上で買っていきたいねと。
Alright, when we do that, alright, our overall trade is all the way up to the 618 fib and the 103.91 roughly. So from 300 to 90, there's 91 pips in there.
で、ブレイクしてきたらここを買っていきたいですねと。90ピップありますよと。
Alright. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like when it happens. If we break, hook, and go, wherever you can get that from, then you got to find the real estate for the stop, and that's the target right there. Alright. Now, our traders are trained how to do that, so that's why we count their trades. They know how to do the real estate at the time. Alright. So there we go. Alright, Swissy. Swissy's in a falling wedge. Falling wedge is a buy sign, but the problem is we don't know where the buy is going to come. Is it going to come when it gets squeezed down here? Is it going to come when they finally tap this PSR and bounce? Or are they going to do another move to the downside? Or are they going to break it out here? Since I don't know what that is, totally.
ドルフランですね。今これ上に抜けてくるのか、一回下がってから抜けてくるのか、ちょっとよくわからないパターンですよねと。
So that's it. We like to draw these here so you can see them. Not only that, we're reporting, Chris, so we got an absolute reporting of what we actually did. All right. So until we know what this is, we need to stay out of the dollar swifty. There's too much conflict. There's too much buying sign signals as well as selling signs. So stay out of the swifty until you know what it is. All right. But the target to the downside is 92.25. If it turns here and makes a move to the downside, then you might want to target that all the way to 92.20.
ドルフランは92円、9225ですね。っていうのが下のターゲットなんですけども、too much buying sign、買いのサインがたくさん出ていますと。なので、跳ね返ってきて下がってきたら売ればいいんですけども、9225まで売ればいいんですけども、ちょっとそれまで様子を見ましょうということですね。
Right. If it breaks to the upside, we're coming up to here, but we would have to redo all the lines. So, all right. Next one is the dollar yen. Dollar yen, we're waiting for the break to the downside here. It's a nice opportunity if we get this break to the downside. There are two opportunities. We call them a snowman. First one is right here, and the second one is right here.
ドル円ですね、60分チャートです。下がってブレイクしてくるのを待っていますと。で、そしたら1つ目、2つ目っていう風に取っていきたいよねってことですね。
All right, pretty easy to see those two opportunities. All right, there's the snowman. First one is up here, so we got to break 97.60. Below 97.60, our target is 97.03. 63 pips right to there. That's trade one. Break, hook, and go of 97.03. Our target is 95.44, and our trade is here. All right. So if it goes all the way down here, tomorrow you will see traders who will say, "I got 220 pips out of that," because they all pay attention to this and they all know how to trade it. All right. So they will not click out for 5 to 8 pips. They will take it all. All right. So that's what we're looking for. Break of the set 97.60 down to 97.03, part one. Part two is a W position below 9,700 and traded down to 95.44. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is in a nasty wedge right now. We don't know if this is a buy, and we don't know if this is a sell. We won't know until the buy does not occur until we break this top. All right, so if they break out of this little area right in here, there is no trade in here. The only trade is above 93.26, call it 93.30, up to 94.76.
OG ドルですね。今このトップがあるんですけども、これをブレイクしてきたら買ってきたよね。チャンネルもブレイクフッカーの合して、このトップを超えてきたら買ってきたよね。で、下に抜けてきたら売ってきたよねってことを言ってますね。
None this morning. We all got in position, but none made a move, man. So, and that's typical for Monday. Why? Because Monday is construction day. Which time frame? We're trading a 240 and a 60, Mohammed. We traded 240 and a 60, but we enter on the 10. We try to nail the entry on a 10. All right, so the setup is on a 10. We don't trade the setup because it's a setup. All right, we trade the setup because it's proven what we already know. All right. All right, so we're waiting. If we get a break to the downside, you won't be able to trade this until you get down to below the 618. All right. So you're going to have to be below the 618, which is at 91.20. The trade is down here. All right, so we're going to pull this down to 91, below 91.20, right in here.
9120より下で売ってきたよねってことですね。
All right, this one will not be a trade to above here, and of course we'll take that one up there, right there. Euro yen, I should say. Euro yen, we're waiting for a continuation to the downside. There's not a lot left in this trade, but there is some, and Euro yen loves to go to the downside. So we're looking for this opportunity. Down here is trade one, and trade two is down here where we have confluence of two HSIs and a 786 fib. All right, so it's trade one, trade two.
ユーロ円ですね、60分チャートです。これ下がってきたら1つ目、2つ目っていうところに取っていきたいんですけども、どこまで取っていきたいんですけども、2つ目のターゲットっていうところには、フィブと2つの HSI があります。デイチャートのボトムもありますので、ここすごく強い、底になってくると思いますと。
The problem with this one is that we're bisected by the even number of 129.50. All right, so 129.50 is a problem here. So if you get wherever you get this trade up here, when you get the trade, you're going to have to be break even by 129.50.
で、どこから売ったとしても129円50銭というイーブンナンバーがあるので、ここまで来たらストップをプラマイゼロまで下げましょうと。
You trade it down to 129.28, a break hook and go here, you double your position for 128.95.
で、ここブレイクフック&ゴー、水色の線を割ってきたら、売りましょう、下にね。で、128円95銭というところがターゲットですと。
Right. So that's a nice trade right there if it happens. Pound yen. Tanya, we were looking for a bounce, but she's looking more and more like she's going to continue to break to the downside. Right? If she breaks to the downside here and continues on, then we're looking for the day chart bottom down here at 149.46. We'll have to trade it below 150.17. All right. So below 150.17, we'll look for a trade down to 149.46. So let me pull this down to here and a little lower. And the overall target is down here at the S6 at 147.85. So
ポンド円ですね、240分チャートです。この水色の線、ボトムを割ってきたら、とりあえずデイチャートのボトムまで売っていきたいよね。その後はこの下の HSI を狙っていきたいよねってことですね。
there's a big opportunity if it happens to the downside. Right? Now they're on the website, Michael. You can go look. Right now we're 24,000 pips for the year. All right. So, and that's not my record. That is trader's record. Right? New Zealand. New Zealand has had a pretty strong retracement here. Okay, you can see we've been running an uptrend, but there's a real strong possibility that this is going to go to the downside. HSI stands for a historical statistical indicator, and it's a tool, target tool. All it does is allow us to measure the waves and find the targets in it with one click. And we invented it. We're the only ones with it. But if you watch them at any time at all, you're going to see the market knows right where they are. So. Alright, so we would really like to see this bounce continue. If we get a bounce up in here, we like this trade right here.
キウイドルですね、240分です。もしこれ跳ね返ってきたらですね、ここスペースありますので、ここ取っていきたいよねってことを言ってます。
Alright, so we'd be very interested in a bounce above 80, the safe price is above 80.50. Alright.
80.50 より上で買っていきたいよねと。
80.50 is a safe place. We're going up into this resistance cluster from 65 up to 8,200. So there's about 75-80 pips in here on a bounce. But if we break hook and go to the downside, we would be coming down to this, where the soldiers are sitting. Right? And that's a big trade to the downside. So a break.
もしブレイクしてきたら、この黄色いトレンドラインまでですよね。すごく大きなスペースあるので取っていきたいねと。
Below 8,000, we would invalidate the buy, and we would be looking for the sell below 8,000 down to 78.61. That's a big trade, folks. So, and that's the only. See, the thing is that's the only place we trade. We will only be looking for big trades. We're not interested in trading for the sake of trading. We're not interested to go grab 5 to 8 tips. All right. So, PDT. What's PDT? If I'm not following you. What's PDT? Pattern day trader. Yeah, they're even stronger, Matt, in the forex. They're stronger in the forex because of the volume. You know, the stock market's going to do $90 billion a day. We're going to do $3.7 trillion, maybe $4 trillion, like that. All right. So, Chris, you're just sitting here to watch. Just watch. Don't be in a hurry to jump into the system. All right. Let's try to get our head wrapped around what we're doing, and then the system is designed to show you how to get to that target. No, we only trade currency. Alright, over to the Aussie yen. We were waiting for this breakout. We now have the breakout, so now we need a break, hook, and go. So the break, we're in the break. We're now looking at the hook to come back up here around 90.27. At 90.27, we're looking for the sell-off down to 89.50.
OG 円ですね、240分です。一回ブレイクしてきたので、一回戻ってきてから売っていきたいですよね。で、89.50 ですか、89円50銭まで売っていきたいよねと。
We'll bring this down below 90.27, up to 90.27, and turn. We're looking to go down to 89.50 right in here. So that's a nice little trade there. All right, Euro Pound. Euro Pound is starting to go. All of our traders are salivating over this thing. And it was anyone ready earlier, and it didn't go, but maybe it's going to go now. The problem, of course, is it's got a pound in it, and London is closing. So I wouldn't trade it now, but I'd sure watch it for the Sydney market, and I'd sure watch it in the Asian market for that trade. Where are we going? All right. So here's the 240 and see what she looks like up here. As you see, we've been running along here, along this trend, but we haven't broken back inside it. But you can see they're popping up a little bit. I'm going to adjust the trend now because they're showing me that that's what they're doing. Right? So, they had a pretty well built trend over here. Let me readjust this trend now. Yeah, that's pretty good. So what I do on a resistance, on a support, they have to tell me they know where that heart line is.
ユーロポンドですね、240分チャートです。ちょっとチャンネルラインを、調整しましょうということで、こことここの高値と安値を結んで、こういうチャンネルラインを引きましたと。で、サポートレジスタンスがあって、で、真ん中のハードラインっていうのにも当たっていますので、これ使われるよねと。
Where that heart line is, I know where the top is. I already know where the bottom is. It's these three bottoms right here tell me where the bottom is. That tells me where the top is. Yeah, exactly right, Scott. Scott, you might want to tell them your best day or your best week or your best month so everybody knows that it's real. It's from a trader, not me. No, they're not pivot points. Pivot points, actually these little blue lines you see in here, Oliver, they come from the pivot point. The pivot point is the base. It's hard to see it in here, but right in here it says grid base. That's the pivot point right there. We're right on it. It's 5 to 7. It's on an odd number. 5 to 7 pips below or above the last support or resistance, and you got to find an odd number that ends in a 3 or a 7. So there. Alright, so this is why we're salivating over this trade right here. All these targets have been taken out because they've already been here. Alright, so these are nothing but barriers. Alright, so our first trade is right here. Our second trade is all the way up to here.
で、なので、ここを抜けてきたら1つ目、2つ目っていう風に買っていきたいですね。で、今なんか今日はチャットになんかいろんな人が入ってきてるらしくて、もうトレーダー入りすぎてパンクしたって言ってて、なんか今日ちょっと音声がいいんですけど、なんか多分部屋を変えたらしいんですよね、ウェブセミナーのルームを。で、ゲストとか入ってきてて、で、スコットさんっていう人がいて、まあ、この先生のスコットじゃなくてスコットっていうのがまたいて、で、彼はその良さを伝えてますよね。これ例えば1日300ピップも勝てるんだよね、これはみたいな。でちょっとノーマルじゃないよね、なんかみたいなこと言ってて、そのゲストさんが普通じゃないよね、ここのトレーニングルームはみたいなことを言ってて、PA トレーダーってなんかちょっと違うよねって、なんか普通と違うよねってことを言ってて、でそのスコットさんっていう人が、まあ普通じゃないんだけど、まあずっとやってればその良さがわかるよ、それほどすごいんだよって、嘘に見えるけど本当なんだよねみたいな、僕なんて1日300ピップ取ってんだからみたいなことを話してます。
Alright, we'll move our stop here, here, here. We'll double our position here, and we'll move our stop here, and we'll target this blue line, which is the previous support, now resistance, and maybe we'll get up here to this R3. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, exactly right on that. So, right. So that's why we're salivating over this trade, because it pays $1.50, not $1.50 on a mini account. So it's 50% more money. All right. So, all right. That's that. Over here to the Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, we're waiting for this break up. It started to move this morning, didn't quite get there, ran out of buyers, and so right now we're waiting to see if they break. And you can see the opportunity is right here. Trade 1 is right here. Trade 2 is right here. All right. Trade 1, trade 2. All right. So you'll trade it above 44.20, which takes this top out. You'll move your stop at 44.50. You'll move your stop at the top here. You'll move your stop again at the R5 at 44.76. A break, a hook, or R5, you'll double your position for the R5 of the second wave, a third wave at 45.43.
ユーロージですね。ここ抜けてきたら1つ目、2つ目っていう風に取っていきたいよねってことを言ってますね。
So that's a great trade right there if it happens. So don't miss that trade. That's a really sweet one because there's nothing to stop this thing once it gets going. All right. So EuroCAD, okay, John Robert. There's John Robert's best month was May, 5,976 pips for John Robert. All right. So I don't know if any of you have ever made 5,976 pips. So no, you can't, Craig, because we have to have an arrangement with every broker that our traders trade. We're a worldwide company, and so we have probably 80 or 90 different brokers that are being used. All right. Now, it's not a stand-alone check. Stand-alone trade. All right. EuroCAD. EuroCAD is in a quandary here. This morning they tried to break to the downside and all they found was buyers. All right, they tried to break it to the downside and all they found was buyers. All right, so we're back inside to put a wedge. So we don't do anything, we're in a wedge. But a break above here, we're going up to 36.93 and maybe as high as 37.15. If we get a break hook and go to the downside, we're not going to trade it till we get below this support. But below the support at 35.80 roughly, we're looking for these two opportunities right here, and we may actually get a third.
ユーロカナダですね。で、ここで跳ね返ってきたら買っていきたいんですけども、この1回取ったターゲットまで買っていきたいんですけども、下にブレイクフックが残したら1つ目、2つ目、3つ目っていう風に取っていきたいよねと。
Right down here. Right. There we go. So both of those are great trades. Again, we're only going to trade where we got these big opportunities. If there's not a big opportunity, we don't trade. We just sit on our hands. We got plenty to do in terms of analysis and all that to figure out what we're doing, so we can spend the time wisely. All right. All of you can see on this CAD yen, there's a potential head and shoulders here. All right. A potential head and shoulders for a move back up to the top of the channel. All right. So what we want to do is negate the head and shoulders. How do we do that? We take the right shoulder out.
カナダ円ですね。ヘッド&ショルダーのパターンが見えています。なのでこれ上がってくるかもしれないですよねと。
So we got to be below 9,500, and if we break below 9,500, the channel will end up down here about 94.22. All right, so nice area, but our overall target is down here at 90.
でもしこの右肩の9500っていう95円ってところを割ってくるだと、この90 to 90ですよね。93円90銭とかその辺まで下がってくる可能性がありますと。
388. So break of 95, 9,500, and we're looking to go down to 93.88. We may not get there because if it goes fast, they'll slam into it here. If it goes fast, that's all we'll get to the 618. If it meanders down, we'll go ahead and get it all. All right, depends on how fast they move it. So we're going to be below 9,500. Take the trade there down to 95.88. You can see where that will all end up right down here. All right. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen, we're at a bounce point. All right, it came down this morning. Monday is construction day, so it's very difficult to trade Monday anyway. All right, because they're still constructing the market. So if they want to go up, the best thing to do is do this ABC to the downside, which is exactly what they did. Now they're in a position if they want to go up to do all of that this week. See, but obviously they're coming down. We could obviously break, hook, and go. And if they break and go, we'll have to redo the targets because I don't have any targets down to the downside.
9円ですね。ABC リトレースメントが来てて今跳ね返ってくる可能性がありますと。もしこの真下抜けてきたらこの、赤い HSI です。この点線ですね。0.618 っていうフィブまで行きたいねってことですね。
To the upside. Well, you can see you'll probably get a trade into the consolidation right in here. All right. So my thought is if you got consolidation here, you have consolidation here. I wouldn't touch it until I got below 7,800, and I'd have to.
でもここに、こういう動きになってくる可能性があるので、78円以下で売っていきたいねってことですね。
Redo the charts at that point. Right? So the real trade that we want is above 7,900 all the way up to 80.16. Right? So that's where we want to trade up there. If
買っていきたいよねってことですね。跳ね返ってきたら、ここまで買っていきたいよねと。
you'll get the bounce. Right? Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand has moved back up to the top. They're having trouble. They couldn't find enough sellers to sell this. We're in a very well-built downtrend, as you can see. So right here is the place they got to talk to us. They're either going to break hook and go up to the top, and we'll be looking for this area right up in here, or they're going to talk to us and say, no, we're going down. If we go down here, there is a great trade right in here. All right, they've already been here, so we can do that one. Then the next trade is right here, and we do not want to miss this trade.
ポンド9ですね、240分。もし上にチャンネルをブレイクしてくるようだと、このトップまで買っていきたいね。で、このまま跳ね返されてくるようだと、とりあえず1つ目、2つ目。で、ここだけは絶対逃したくないですよね。この HSI の間は絶対逃したくないよね。売っていきたいよねってことを言ってます。
Right here, which probably won't happen until Wednesday. But on Wednesday, we'll be looking for this baby right here. All right?
でも木曜日とか水曜日とか木曜日にならないとここまでは来ないでしょうね。逆にここを絶対見逃したくないよねってことを言ってますね。
So that's a big trade. So from the top at 91.50, right about where we are right now, we'll look for a turnover, and if we get the trade down, we'll trade it down to 89.86. Break at 89.86, we're going to trade it to 89.07. Break at 89.07, we're going to trade it all the way down to 8,500. So a couple of big opportunities here, folks. So all the crosses have got big opportunities. Right? Silver, for those of you who can, we're looking for the bounce. We're in a pretty well-built uptrend, as you can see. They've come down, they've bounced twice over here already, and we can see the white dots already showing up. We're looking for a target of 2112 at this point in time, but we're going to run into this top first, and we're going to run into the day chart downtrend. All right. So the initial trade will probably only be up here to 2050. All right. So from 1996, so that's about 50 pips is all. All right. So that's it. Second trade would be in here. If we break that, we're going to 2112, and we may get all the way up to here.
銀ですね、XAG。まずトップまで買っていきたいね。そしてトレンドラインまで買っていきたいね。抜けてきたらここに HSI がありますけど、ここが最終的なターゲットですねと。
So that's the second part. That's it. Right? What are they doing with the dollar this morning? They're quit buying it. They're just sitting there sideways. If you wonder why nothing happened today, can everybody see why nothing happened? That's the dollar index. What did they do with the dollar? Absolutely nothing. They didn't do anything with it, and that's why we didn't see any movement on the currency. Right? So you got to pay attention to that dollar index. Right? So pound sheep. Pound sheep are waiting for a sell off here. We will not trade it until we break through this 42.63. But breaking the 42.63, we're going down to 41.61. We do not want to miss that trade. All right? Not at all. So
ポンドフランですね。これボトム、そこを割ってきたらここを絶対逃したくない。ピンクのデイチャートのボトムまで売っていきたいよねってことを言ってます。
Chart tells us it can do that. Right now it's telling you we're not anywhere near doing that. All right? See that? Green, 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 and green. All right? So we still may have another move up to the top before we get that sell. All right? Based on what the chart tells us. All right? Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, we're waiting for this breakup. We're running a little channel here. I'm going to take this top off now, okay, because it won't be relevant in the next session. All right? So we're looking to break this top right here. We had a 55 pip move this morning. We're right up in here. And the two trades that we're looking for in this Pound Aussie, we've been waiting for actually a week. All right? So there they are, right there.
ポンド時ですね。これはこの上を抜けてきたら1つ目、2つ目っていう風に取っていきたいですと。でもこれずっと先週1週間待ったトレードですよねってことを言ってますね。
Do not want to miss these trades right here. So if we get a break above 6,700, hook and go, you're going to trade it to 67.58.
なので6700、6700より上に行ってブレイクフック&ゴーしてきたら6758までこれ買ってきたよねっていうことを言ってますね。
At 67.58, you're going to move your stop, and if you break 67.58, break hook and a go, you're going to trade it up to 68.16. Moving your stop at the 6,800 even number, and if you break hook and go above 68.16, you're going to add another position up to 69.15.
これ買い増しの方法なんですけども、これをとりあえず買いましたと。で、6758ですよね。ここ抜けてきてブレイクフック&ゴーで、今度は6816まで買いたいと。6816まで買いたい。で、そうしたら6800っていうところまでストップを上げて、6816をブレイクフック&ゴーしたら今度は6915っていうところまで買っていきたいねと。
All right. So that's a big opportunity with three potential entries. If we don't get a retracement, if we do get a retracement, we're going to buy on the dips. And you're in New Zealand stuck inside a wedge. All right. So we don't trade a wedge. We're looking for this buy here or this sell right down here.
ユーロ9位ですね。ユーロニュージーランドです。で、今この青いチャンネルとピンクのトレンドラインの間に入ってウェッジですね。ウェッジの中っていうのはトレードしないで、どっちかに抜けてきたらトレードしましょうと。
We don't care what they do, but they got 40 pips to go before they ever give us the buy, and they got 60 pips before they ever give us the sell. Don't ever trade in a wedge because you'll get stuck in here. A couple months ago, we watched traders get stuck in the New Zealand for 3 weeks inside a wedge. So don't trade a wedge. Wait till they break out. Right? That's why we have so many currencies, because lots of them are stuck in wedges or stuff. We don't have the ability to trade them. We have a lot of yen crosses because we want to trade the Asian market, and of course you can trade everything in the New York session. Okay. All right. So, yep, that's true. There are only 1 or 2 good trades per session. Understand that. Most of you have been making 5, 10, 15 trades at a time.
で、まあ今最後にスコットが言ってるのが。まあどんなセッションでも、例えばアジア、東京マーケット、ロンドンマーケット、ニューヨークマーケットでも大体1つか2つのトレードがあると思ってください。それ以上はないと思って方がいいですということですね。
That's not good. All right? We look for 1 or 2 opportunities. All right? All right. Let me pull the stats up here. This is the web page. Over here. All right. It's under training. there you go, David. Training, and we're looking for live room results. When you click that, you'll come to this room right here, this page right here. All right. So this is the start of the second 6 months here, June, July. 5,400 tips last month, 2,100 so far this month. All right.
すごいですよね。これ PA 本部のスコットたちのトレード、このライブルームでやってる成績なんですけども、ジューン6月で5000ピップで、ジュライ7月の今で2000ピップ取ってますよね。で、ここまで24,000ピップ取ってるってことですので、まあ相当取れていますよね。
First half of the month, half of the year, we are at 10,000 tips right here. All right. The first 5 months of 2013. All right. And we had 10,000 tips with 24 losses, 216. All right. If you want to see the actual record of our traders, there's one behind each one. And this is the record from last year, right here.
まあそんな感じですね。最後はまあ結果の報告ということで、でしたけども。で、まあ最後に負けたのだけ、やってるらしいですね。このピップさんでいつもチャットでやってる人がこの負け分だけを抽出してなんで負けたのか、いつ負けたのか、どの通貨でどの時間帯に何ピップ負けたのかっていうのをこれ、記録してます。
Right here. Right. So this is the effect of fundies. And when we traded fundies, we made 32 trades on fundies, and we had our average pip capture was 29.53. Now there are trading groups. All our record is our trading group, not my record. My record doesn't count. Nobody cares what my record is. What people care about is what can I do. Right? No, I don't.
で、このピンクとか緑っていうのはファンダメンタルですよね。ニュース中にどんくらいトレードしたか、32回トレードして29ビップ平均で取っているとか、そういうことが書いてあります。で、これはすべて、このユーザーの皆さんですね、トレーダーの皆さんの成績で、スコットの成績はないですよと。スコットの成績は別に気にしないでしょと。それよりも自分がどうやってどのくらいトレードできるのかっていうのをここに記録していますっていうことですね。
So, 737 pips on right over here on early and late fundies. Early fundies was 16 trades, 31. That's our average trip on fundies. Now they're in their second year of target trading, and they do a lot better. So there we go. I will see all of you tomorrow morning. So glad you're here. Hopefully you see some things you like. Take advantage of your 2 weeks. It's free. Costs you nothing. There's nothing else you'll learn more than you have in 2 weeks in the last 2 years. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
はい、というわけで今日のセッションリキャップここまでです。まあ、最後久しぶりにこの PA 本部の結果っていうのを見れましたよね。なかなかやっぱりたくさんやってて、まあ考えられないぐらい取ってますよね。24,000ピップとりあえず今年取ってるよっていうことで、まあ、月平均で見ると本当に何ピップでしょう。24,000割る 7なので、まあ、3,000ピップぐらい取ってるわけですよね、月平均で。まあトレーダー全員のっていうかそのアベレージですよねっていうのでそれぐらい取ってるので、まあ僕たちも無理じゃないですけど、まずは月に300ピップでも500ピップでもいいので、まずは確実にプラスで、終われるようにしていきたいと思います。それではどうも今日もありがとうございました。また明日ですね。それでは失礼します。